Look at the path that makes the most sense for your future, for where you are this moment and going forward, and just let go of whatever the past, may have held.
Hi, everybody, and welcome back. It's been about a month, perchance a month, I think, since we've conversed with you guys, and my mother, in her never-ending busy schedule, has graced us with her presence, so I'm very excited to have her on. And she's giving me such a look. I can tell she's just not. She's not going to be cooperative. It's going to take her a minute to get back in the zone. But here's the microphone. Speak into the microphone, please. There's the camera. Look into the camera whenever you can resist looking at my beautiful face. But try your best, please.
All right. I shall.
You've refamiliarized yourself? Are you ready to go?
I am ready to go. Let's get this rocking and rolling.
You're like, no, I'm literally ready to go. Yeah. We're in her office and she sees her work computer right over there and she's like itching to get back.
Oh, yeah. Oh, we have a big contract that we're going over. And so that is mind-numbing work. And it's just very detailed and tedious. Mm-hmm. So thank you for reminding me of what's sitting on my desk.
But that's also what you're good at. You're good at the details. And
that is true.
Moving on from contracts, guess what I did today? I can't believe it. Like, let's just take a moment. I bought one of our products at CVS today.
That's so exciting.
Oh my God. Hello. Can everybody just take a moment of silence, please? Or just like, let's all just clap, because I literally walked into a CVS today, something I do every other day, unfortunately, buy way too many things from there that I don't need. Anyway, and you know how I end up buying so many things that I don't need in those little checkout lines? And you just see all the pretty stuff there. And guess what? 7 flavors of pretty things are now in the checkout aisle of CVS. 300 CVSs across the entire United States. I am mind blown.
Yeah.
Are you there with me?
I am completely mind blown. I'm super excited.
It is insane. Like, who doesn't know a CVS?
Yeah.
Like, what is one of those staple places?
Yeah, I agree. It's very exciting.
And 300 stores.
I know. It's super cool. And it's super cool to just start seeing that idea that we had that was so good start to come to fruition and be in 300 stores across the U.S. I mean, it's been a much slower process than we anticipated it being. And we've had to pivot and adjust and just do a lot of different things that we didn't anticipate having to do. And that's part of the fun, part of the challenge, part of the excitement. It's also opened up new avenues. Like now as we're launching in CVS and have all these amazing flavors because of the challenges through the pandemic and supply chains, we've had to start co-manufacturing for other people as well in order to stay true to our mission, which was employ as many people as we could, really give our employees a shot at better lives through a better workplace. That's what I love about building a business. You start with a vision, and that vision evolves and grows and changes as it comes to fruition. Mm-hmm. So now we're going to have our products in all of these CVS stores. We're available on Target.com. And in addition to that, we're now making product for other companies that are also in retailers across the country. And so to see our employees, hard at work creating products that everyone loves, that's really exciting.
I was going to save the co-manufacturing piece for an entirely different episode, but since you've raised it, let's dive into it because that's a heated topic. Co-manufacturing, for people that don't know, there's a branded side we have, and if you're not watching right now, I'm holding one of our smoothies. What is this? Fruiting for You. I'm holding our Fruiting for You smoothie, and that's our brand, Sow Good.
Yes.
And then we make product for other brands. So that's
Correct.
called co-manufacturing. We are collaborating on manufacturing. So we manufacture your products for you. There's also private labels. So grocery stores, Trader Joe's is a classic example. They're mainly their own brand. And so they will have other manufacturing places for specific items under the Trader Joe's brand. So I think I just love educating people on when you walk into a grocery store, what is behind everything that you're seeing. And in grocery stores, there's stories and stories and stories that you don't even realize. And I love going into one and being like, I see so much more than just the product there.
Yeah.
But anywho, so co-manufacturing. Listen, if you have the ability to manufacture something amazing, why not spread the love?
Yeah.
Especially with freeze-dried, I used to be, this has been a point of contention internally amongst our management team. Like, brand building is expensive. Brand building takes a lot of investment and a lot of time. And one of our board members just famously says there is a reason why big corporations buy other brands, is because to build one from scratch takes so much time, and it's so much easier to just utilize a brand with a pre-existing following. So starting from scratch is so much more difficult than I anticipated, and considering how my job is split between sales and branding, it's a constant scramble between both. And it's like having two children and one is neglected. I think branding is a little neglected right now because we're so sales focused. This is something that I have needed to work on. I get very focused. Like, it's one of my stronger assets, my determination and hyper focus, but also it can be one of my weaknesses. I have blinders on to anything else. And I was like, so good or nothing else, so good or nothing else. But really, the more that we can promote freeze drying in the marketplace, only benefits Sow Good. So if we benefit other companies who have freeze drying products, I used to think, nope, we can't support anyone else because that means their products are going to be higher quality, which means that we're going to have true competition. Like, let's let them just continue having poor quality products. But no, the more that we can like bolster the freeze dried marketplace in retail, the more familiarity customers will have with freeze drying, which makes it easier for us to access.
And I think the other thing, and it was a lot of internal conversation, and there was some friction.
I love how diplomatically.
About it's got to be so good or nothing else, and I needed to go back to what was our mission. What was our intent when we launched this company? And the intent of this company wasn't to create a pretty package. It was to create a company that stood for something. And what it stood for was opportunity, for employment, for advancement, for bringing this amazing technology to the masses that help us deal with food waste, food insecurity, that helps us upcycle products. That's who we are. And if our products and that mission is accomplished in this cup or in someone else's bag, I'm okay with that, because at the end of the day, that's what matters. Bringing the best possible product to you guys in whatever form or package it could be. At the end of the day, I want to expand our employee, count, because I want more people to benefit from what we're doing. That's what I need to focus on, not whether it's in the cup that I originally thought it was going to be in or not.
Fully agree 100%, but also Sow Good is amazing. And
it's so
good,
amazing.
Sow Good is so good. And I will die on that hill. And I think this is a part of
welcome to the friction.
Welcome to the friction. No, I think maybe we shouldn't be as honest as we're being right now, but I think this is what real conversations are for growing businesses. These are conversations we've been having for I was going to say months, but like years. It's almost 2 years now.
Yeah.
And people are just tuning in now to this conversation. So we have a brand called Sow Good. Freeze-dried fruits and veggie snacks, ready-to-blend smoothies, and granolas. We also have a brand called Sustain Us, which is geared more towards hikers, backpackers, outdoorsy people, the outdoors. And those are in Sierra Trading Company right now, which is really cool. If you're a part of that world, you know what that is. Then we have the co-man side, which means we make product for other brands as well. So those are the three components of the business. There's also like bulk, private label, but let's just stick to those three. And so what the friction has been is that we're starting Sow Good from scratch brand wise. That takes a lot of time and a lot of money and a lot of resources to build a brand to the point where it's a household name. And it was pretty blind of me and short-sighted to think that we need to exclude the other two components of the business until the first one is a household name. But if
that's
we can
you have a mother.
That's why I have two parents who are serial
And
entrepreneurs and a CEO and a boss who tells me what to do. But anyway, the co-man side is kind of quick cash in a way. It's
Oof.
I'm going to take that. I'm going to take that.
Yeah, no.
Like you don't have to do the branding side.
Yeah,
that is the only thing
about the co-man side, and I've always loved that piece of the business, is you get to learn from other brands, other companies, other professionals. You know, the major contract that we're going through is with a Fortune 100 company. And it's amazing.
Talk about months in the making.
Months in the making. And having all of those resources of one of the world's biggest brands and having their team come to the facility on multiple occasions and walking through it and walking through, you know, our processes, our equipment, all of our food safety plans, that just becomes a great opportunity to do that with someone that has seen hundreds of plants, hundreds of ways to do what we're doing. And so that's what I love about co-manufacturing for companies that are much larger than we are right now, because just the wealth of resources and knowledge that they have is really spectacular.
And on top of that, having that cash flow come in will support the branded business.
Exactly.
And I don't think people understand how expensive it is to build a brand, to get a marketing agency, a PR agency, hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Yeah, it's very expensive.
If you want to see the growth that, you know, you expect, it could be on a smaller scale. You can use micro influencers and things like that. But to grow at the rate we're talking about and that our board wants to see, mainly, it takes hundreds of thousands of dollars in advertising, whatnot.
Yeah, if not millions of dollars, you know, if you're going to do
really
it.
Gonna
and so one of the things
spot.
that co-manufacturing does for us is it gives us a steady state of business. And
steady state.
Yeah. And with that steady state of business, it keeps our machines full, our employees working. It gives us the opportunity to expand our facility and be much more selective and methodical and strategic about how we continue to support Sow Good and Sustain Us.
Yeah.
You know, so many times I think that businesses will agree to something because they need the cash flow or they need the open doors or, you know, whatever KPIs they look at or whatever their benchmarks are. And so this allows us to not do that.
Yeah.
It allows us to say, you know, one of the reasons I was so excited to go into CVS, we're in their health hubs.
Yeah.
That's what Sow Good is for health, for, you know, getting these amazing products to
and
people.
for convenience.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, to what you were saying, when you're pressed to grow a brand quickly, you kind of take any opportunity that you can get, whether it's wise and whether it fits your brand or not. Yeah. I think that's a lesson we've had to learn. Does this opportunity, as exciting as it is, fit your brand at this point in time right now? Yeah. So I think we're touching on a lot of things, and I can't believe we're being as honest as we are.
I wouldn't. I mean, it's just who we've always been.
Yeah.
And I think
but nobody else shares this kind of stuff. And
see, then what's the point? I've been so incredibly fortunate in my life.
Yeah.
I was thinking the other day, we were driving somewhere. There were days I didn't know how I was going to put gas in my car.
Stop.
And there were, and there were,
Here we go.
And some of the things that just really weigh heavily on my heart right now is with inflation, with gas prices. How are families dealing with this? And I know if I went back 15 years and gas prices were what they are right now, if food costs were what they are right now, I wouldn't be able to sleep. I wouldn't know how to do it. And so, through the last 15 years, we're in such a different place.
Yeah.
Very, very fortunately. And so through those 15 years, through that growth, through that struggle, there was so many lessons learned.
Yeah.
And if I had had some people talk to me honestly over those 15 years, how much more could I have grown? Yeah. How much quicker could I have grown? What other lessons might I have learned because I didn't make this mistake, so now I made another one. And so for me, it's like, if I'm going to sit here in front of you guys and talk about stuff, then it's got to be real. It's got to be honest, because if not, I'm wasting all of our times.
Yeah. Business
is hard. Mm-hmm. Work is hard. And that's why you have to find the brands that give you joy, or, if you're in a service industry, if you're in a service industry, that customer that you love to interact with, you need to find those moments for when all the other stuff comes into play, when every strategic plan you've put together falls by the wayside because, pandemics happen or inflation happens or whatever it is. And that's what's reigniting my passion. The fact that whatever path we go down, as long as we stick to that, that's really amazing.
Just mic drop.
I don't think you'd like it if I dropped the mic.
No, I would be very upset, actually. Let's talk about another exciting launch. Happened a couple weeks ago. My favorite bagel place.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so this was like a family life moment. For those of you that have seen Ira's podcast, if you didn't sense it in his podcast, he is
from
a New Yorker.
Sentence he said he is a classic New York Jew.
So we just launched in Zabar's.
Oh, did we not say that yet?
No.
So we launched in Zabar's, which is a staple bagel, smoked fish, just classic Jewish food deli.
Yes.
Gourmet shop.
Yes.
A lot of things. It's grown.
And it's like the most amazing grocery store / bodega / deli / just icon.
Let's just pull up a thesaurus at this point. And so we were at the Fancy Food Trade Show, and then I saw on a name tag, it said Zabar's, and he was just kind of like standing there, and I said, Zabar's, hello, you are my family's absolute favorite spot in New York City. And he comes over and he goes, well, now I got to try what you got. And I was like, all right. And then he did.
Classic New York swagger.
And I was like, okay. So when you tried it, like, it wasn't even a thought in my mind. It's like, oh, I'm going to pitch this guy. I was just like, I just need you to know how much I love your store. And turns out he's been there 40 years, like just knows that place inside and out. And he was like, all right, I'll try your products. He took in, I think, 8 SKUs of products, fruit snacks, veggie snacks, and granola. And I was just over the moon. Like, we met with big retailers at that at the trade show, but what we got most excited about was Zabar's. And so I went to New York and I sampled at Zabar's on my birthday.
Yeah.
And it was the best. Like, my birthday was on a Sunday, and I went in the morning, and I tabled there. And just getting to meet people from Zabar's just attracts people from all over the world. And so I met some locals who have been going there for decades.
Yep.
And I have met people from like Australia, Zimbabwe, just so many cool places. And then there's this older gentleman who stops by my table and just tries every single product.
Yeah.
And then he tries them all again, and just like chatting there, standing there. It's probably like 10 minutes.
Yeah.
I think maybe even 15 minutes, dare I say. And then he starts like talking to the people who are walking by, and then he talks to the people behind the smoked fish counter. And I'm like, wow, this guy just really knows everybody. And then someone comes up to me and goes, do you know who that is? And I was like, no, who? He goes, one of the original Zabars. I was like, what? And I turned to him and I go, you're one of the original Zabar's owners? Why didn't you say anything? And he goes, you didn't ask. And it was such a heartwarming moment. He told me he was 94 years old and he still goes in every single day, and he's dealing with memory loss issues. And I just felt so fortunate that I got to meet him. He was the original owner's son. And there are multiple sons, but it was Saul Zabar. So Saul, I don't think you're going to watch this, but if you do, it was the highlight of my birthday getting to meet you, and for you to say that his favorite product was the tomato. So everybody, the Tomatonator, available online and
and at Zabar's
and at Zabar's and CVS. Okay. Anyway, so that was such an exciting launch.
Can we go back to my new product?
Okay. So I'm just like making friends with, all the employees there, just really great people. And then I was fortunate to be right next to the smoked fish section, and the guys kept handing me so much raw, and I do not eat raw fish. I do not eat raw logs. It needs to be on a toasted everything bagel with scallion cream cheese, a little bit of lettuce, and a thinly sliced cucumbers, but I digress. So when they just
we take our logs very seriously.
So when they just hand me raw, like plain smoked fish, I was like,
You do understand that it's not raw if it's not smoked.
Raw. Oh my gosh, you're so right. What I meant is just like plain, like not on top of it. You're just gonna make fun of me. Oh God, why did I say that?
Thank you guys.
Okay,
I need more ammunition.
You're never short on ammunition. That's one thing I've learned from working here. What was I saying? Okay, so he was just handing me standalone smoked fish. And I was like, I'm gonna have to pretend the entire day that I am enjoying this. But it was so good. And I would put it on. That's right. I made the game time decision to take our sweet potato and dill chip, put the smoked, oh my gosh, I'm being taken back to like such a beautiful moment. Put the smoked fish on top of it. We should do like a
little charcuterie board,
or like smoked salmon.
Yeah, on our sweet potato chips.
That's so funny. And it was just the most beautiful combination of food. And my mother somehow got into her head that it was her idea, even though she was nowhere near there. Just love how your brain works sometimes.
Yeah, I felt like it was my idea.
So it was just so heartwarming to be there, and I can't wait to go back.
I can't wait to go back. And did Lexi bring us anything back from Zabar's in New York? No.
Okay, so that was Zabar's, and that was CVS. What else? We came back from Expo East, and by we I mean me, because my parents canceled last minute, so left me with two of our employees to man the show. It ended up being great and fine. I didn't need them.
Welcome to motherhood.
And so we made it work, and it was an awesome show. But what I wanted to talk about from this show particularly is that, I mean, every time we always get mind blown by the number of young entrepreneurs. Mm-hmm. And I think at first I kept up with all the brands, up and coming brands, the people who are doing their series A, B, C, D, EFG series raises, and just having exponential growth and whatnot. And I think in the beginning, it was really important for me to look into every single other brand. At that point, for my own mental well-being, I just needed to stop and disconnect and focus just on what we're doing, because we have so much that we're doing here, and so many things that we need to strategize and focus on, that when I look at other people's LinkedIn or Instagram or Forbes articles or whatnot, I get envious. And I love that I get envious, because I'm like, that's where I want to be. That is who I want to be. And I want to get there now. But I have this thing in tennis where, just to give yet another anecdote, oi. There are different courts right next to one another, all different levels. And I'm at like an intermediate level, but the level next to me every Saturday is the top level. And I always used to get distracted, and people would be like, Lexi, focus. But I would watch them next to me and be like, I want to be them. They are so good and so like graceful, and I just love watching them. They hit so powerfully. But then I developed this saying in my head: if you want to get on that court, you have to put in the work on this court. Mm-hmm. And that's something that I've taken into business with me. When I start to get envious and look at other brands having great growth, you still really don't even know what their struggles are, what they're growing through. Yeah. But if I want to be in a huge Forbes article, or really have you be in one, or to have a segment on a great show or something like that, in order to get to that place, I need to put in the work here right now at my desk. Yep. And so I just kind of disconnected from staying in touch with other brands for months now, and I think it's helped. But I still, it's hard to even avoid just by word of mouth, other brands and founders and just Instagram, LinkedIn, all that stuff. So when I go to trade shows, one example is Sanzo is an Asian flavor inspired sparkling water. And I've just heard about them, but never really done the research on them. And the fact that the founder was in the booth right next to me, I got to chat with him and their team, and they're just great people. We took a wellness shot together. But I just love being able to really be present at those trade shows. And that's a part of my wellness routine, is just saying, I can live in the moment here. Mm-hmm. I can really look at all the brands that are just so cool and have inspired me, and just learn from them, talk to all those other founders. So I always just come back really invigorated and inspired. And I just had such a great time meeting other brands that I've heard about for so long. Yeah. And to see, it's like, you're real? Like, wait, I've only seen you for the last 2 years on other platforms, and to see you in real life, like, you exist. I think it's also cool going to the trade shows to see brands at every stage of development. There are people who don't even have a fully fleshed out product. They just have an idea, and they're doing R&D, and they have prototypes, and they show you what they have and what they're working on. But you see the passion already, and then you see the brands that are raising tens of millions of dollars, and every stage in between are at these trade shows. And I think there's such life and passion, and I love being a part of that. You know, when I was in middle school, high school, college, I didn't think that this is where I would be or what would make me so passionate, but it really does. I just love seeing people create something, and especially at such a young age, in their 20s. I met a girl, she was right across from me, Abby's Better, we're gonna collab, who makes nut butters, and I usually hate nut butters unless it's peanut butter. I don't like all the fake butters, but hers was so good. It's better than anything else. What was I saying? Oh, she started when she was 15. And it's been 7 years, and just talking to her, it was super cool. There was a mom two doors down, 2 booths down, who's like, I made this pancake mix for my kids. And now she's just really, really excelling. And I love seeing that growth for her. Happy Grub. So cute. Anyway, just so many amazing stories, and to be a part of that.
Yeah, I think it's awesome to see so many people creating something new or trying to create a different path for themselves. So that's super exciting.
What advice do you have for people young, early on in their careers?
I'd say don't be afraid of the pivot. Don't be afraid to walk down a different path, because you know, like Lexi was saying earlier, if you had asked her, even while she was at Georgetown, you know, one day would she be working for a brand or doing something on the CPG side?
Yeah.
I think he would have said, there's no way.
Absolutely not.
But you can find your passion and your love down a road that you never ever expected. So when you're faced with a pivot or a fork in the road or, a choice, don't let fear or complacency guide you. And I think so often, we're scared to take a different path because we say, oh my gosh, I've invested so much time and energy in this one career or this one educational path or this one job.
Or relationship or place or community.
Absolutely.
It applies to so many facets of life.
So, don't let that be what guides you. Yeah. Look at the path that makes the most sense for your future, for where you are this moment and going forward. And just let go of whatever the past, may have held. And the other thing I would say is don't believe your own press. I think oftentimes, we get on high horses, whatever they may be, or we think, oh my gosh, we're so cool. We're
step off your soapbox.
Yeah, we're in Zabars, we're in CBS. You have to remember that business and life are cyclical. Always treat people with kindness, with respect, with humility. And I bring that up because I had someone come in for a job interview today, and it was their first interview, and I had planned on sitting in on it, but I had to take a phone call with our attorneys for the deal that we're working on. And so I had Ricardo, our plant manager, who's phenomenal, and Ava, who's my other daughter and head of HR, take the interview. And, the one thing about how we live here at Sow Good, like my door is always open. There's no one that can't come in. We're not very formal. We're not very title driven. I'll speak to our sanitation worker just as readily as I'll speak to our CFO. Yeah. To me, we're all one team, one family. And so this person came in and they interviewed with Ricardo, and then they interviewed with Ava. And the guy thought that Ava was our secretary. And so he sent me an email. I sent him, I'm so sorry I wasn't able to meet with you in person. And so he sends me an email saying, next time I'd appreciate you not having a lowly office admin interview me. Yes.
No.
And so,
this happened today?
This happened today. And so
the tea.
Okay. And Lexi knows this really well. You don't mess with my employees. And I don't care that Ava is my daughter. You show our employees respect, whoever you are. I mean, that's how I would treat anyone else. That's how I expect my team to be treated. And so I responded and I was like, I really apologize that you felt that way. Thank you for bringing this to my attention. Just as a side note, both Ava and Ricardo had the ability to hire you. Ava is not, our lowly admin, but actually one of my daughters and head of HR. But I hope you have a really great rest of your day. And thank you for your time today. Yeah.
I'm literally sinking into my chair out of.
So you never know who you're going to run into. Don't make assumptions.
Yeah.
Treat everyone with respect, with courtesy. Lexi and I were just having this conversation about texting versus calling.
Oh, God.
And what I told her is some conversations just you need to treat with more respect and with more kindness and with more compassion. And so do that in business. Don't make assumptions. treat people well, because you never know when they're going to come back into your life. One of the things that I find super heartwarming is, we run into people from our previous industry all the time, and they're begging for us to get back into the industry. And we're not for any time soon. But the fact that they had such positive, amazing, relationships with us, I think that speaks so much as to who we were as a company and as a team.
I'm still reeling over. I'm just imagining your face when you read that email. And as my mother was telling that story, her face started to get red, and that's when
the mommy smackdown was coming.
I was leaning back because I'm like, whenever she gets heated and retells a story about when she gave the smackdown, we call it the mother smackdown to someone else, you can't help but feel like she's mad at you and she's yelling at you. Like the full
I do not
might.
yell.
She doesn't yell. That's the worst part. That is the worst part. And passionate tones. But I can only imagine.
If I get quiet and cold, that's when you know it's trouble.
Totally. Stop. I'm getting full body chills, shivers. Both. That's how bad it is. I get both.
So that's it. That's what I would tell you guys is,
that was a question.
Don't be afraid of the pivots. Treat everyone with respect and humility, and follow your passion. Pivots, strategic shifts don't mean that you've
failed.
Yeah, it just means that you're learning and that you're growing. Failure is being stagnant. Failure is not adjusting, not growing. And so that's what I would recommend.
All right. I think there was so much good material there.
You know what I think would be interesting, and I don't know enough about social media to know how this would work.
I know what you're going to say.
I don't know if people have questions.
Mm-hmm. Let's open the floor. Next time we'll take live callers.
Let's not get carried away.
Next time we'll next time I'll put up a Q&A on the social medias and ask you guys, or just email us at goodstories@sowginc.com potentially. I can't wait to see everything that's in store for you.
Thank you.
You have the ability to just move an entire room with your words alone. And I just think that's so inspiring, and I can't wait for the day when you will be on Forbes magazine cover. I know that you don't want to, but people are going to want you to. I will be on there with you. Fine. Fine if you insist. I'll be like, she'll only do it if I'm there. Sorry.
When we get there, we
got to do the work here before we can get there.
I'm not a public I don't want magazine covers and stuff like that.
I think that's why.
But
you're not an influencer, which I love.
Yeah.
You're like people love being on those kinds of placements and opportunities, and you're like, I want to sit at my desk and speak to absolutely nobody. Like, please do not. But then you also have like a little sassy side to you. Like, I love coming in with my outfits, and
I love clothes.
You do.
But no, what I was going to say is, once we get to a certain level of success, it's really about the team we built. Yeah. And it's about the fact that, we created something that elicited so much passion from you, from Nate, from Pedro, from our board. That's when we finally get to, the next big goal. That's what's going to make me happy. The fact that, not that we hit a certain benchmark or a certain financial target, but the fact that we built something that inspires, that we created something that people want. Mm-hmm. And that, I do that with our co-manufacturing. You have people that walk through and go, wow, you guys did it right.
That's the best.
Yeah.
When you see people from really big brands and businesses walk into our facility, and they're always like, yeah, we just need to check that everything is like up to par. And from their tone that they like questioned whether you guys are going to have like a legit facility and they walk in and they go, oh,
Yep.
oh, you guys very much know what you're doing.
Yes.
And in fact, we have questions for you to help us.
Exactly.
And I just think that's so cool because you're like, yeah, it's our bread and butter. No big deal.
Yeah.
You're in my kingdom.
You're in my little...
This is my Mona Lisa. Okay.
Yeah. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everybody.
Bye.
Really appreciate it.
Go to
And
Zabar's. Go to CBS.
Can you stop talking? All right. You know she wants to leave. Let's just do
L'chaim?
L'chaim. Just let me speak. Let's do a L'chaim. Let's do a...
Salut.
Yeah. Let's do a salut. Let's do a L'chaim.
L'chou. I'll end it on that one.